Alright, so we're going to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a bit. We're going to go over a lot of the major events in this entire thing. Really quick fashion. There was another word I was going to use, and I totally forgot what it was. Anyway, we're going to go over what started this, where it is now, things that have led up to current, and of course discuss where I stand on this. Do I stand with Vic? Do I kick Vic? And who is Vic? For those of you who have no idea what's going on, because this sort of kicked off in the anime world. So let's just get into it, shall we? Who is Vic Mignogna? Vic Mignogna is an actor, voice actor, who has done several things, well known for Full Metal Alchemist and the recent Brawling movie that just hit and did, I'm pretty sure it was pretty decently well. I'm not really sure what the numbers are and how well they are compared to other movies, because the only numbers I can think of are really big blockbuster movies. But anyway, he's done a lot of different things, from the recent Brawling movie, Ruby, RWBY, Ruby, which is a Rooster Teeth thing, works for Funimation, or worked for Funimation. Dragon Ball Super Brawly, the recent movie, of course. And he has been accused of sexual assault. The thing is, why has he been accused of sexual assault? Has he actually done anything? That's yet to be seen, to be totally honest, because nobody has produced any proof whether or not it's actually happened. But anyway, nobody has actually produced any actual evidence of this so far. It's all been, I've heard, we've heard, so-and-so told me, with no real proof of evidence other than pictures of fans who have requested pictures and poses and other things. At various times over the past 15-20 years. What I also learned recently was he was also involved in World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. Did not know. He's somewhere in there. Anyway, so let's just get into it. What started all this? Somebody named Mars Girl, Kaylin here. I believe a lot of these people are other voice actors that I actually don't really know a whole lot of. One of them is the voice actor for Boma and other people, which we'll see pictures of throughout this entire thing. And also, I'm going to apologize if you hear my kids over everything, because I can hear them and they're very loud. Anyway, so we've got this tweet here. Hard to say this, especially on the night that DBZ film dropped, knowing that I have a friend / acquaintance at Funny, which is Funimation. But at Funimation, I think it may be time to reconsidering hiring Vic Mignogna as voice actor in the future due to years and great volumes of sexual misconduct. Does this need like a hashtag or something? I don't know. Kick Vic, or does this need to invoke too much of an image of physically kicking him, or rather than giving him the boot? I don't know what the F I'm doing. I don't create hashtags. Anyway, of course, with this came an article. An article that, for whatever reason, I can't seem to find, but somebody's got it out there. That also had a picture which was accusing him of such a thing. In the picture, it had him kissing a fan, and there was another picture of him hugging said same fan, and it was essentially accusing him of sexual misconduct here. But then the person who actually owns said photo, the photo of the girl, had to come out right afterwards and say that's not what happened. That essentially it was a private event that Vic was invited to or brought to or whatever, put on by her parents, and she requested the photos, which is nothing new. I've seen it happen a lot. I've been to a few cons myself. I've met Vic myself. And, having fans, can you take a picture? Can we do this? Can we do that? Sort of thing is not something uncommon. I've seen it a lot with a lot of different voice actors, including the voice actor for Boma. Whatever her name is, can't remember it. But also, this is another little thing that's floating around. I thought it was interesting just to throw in here. It's apparently a book I recently learned of. It's a book teaching women how to destroy a man's reputation in corporate America by filing false claims against him in a methodical and calculating way. Most false sexual harassment claims. It was allegedly written by Saidi. This is probably the sickest display of hashtag feminism, Me Too movement I've seen, blah, 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 yada, 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 which, of course, is something where a lot of people are onto. It's just idea of listen, believe. You know, somebody says X happened, but has no proof that X happened, especially if X happened a long while ago and nothing was ever done about it, and you can't get anybody to actually corroborate said evidence or anything. You know, it's really hard to, you know, believe somebody without some kind of proof. You know, you generally, there's going to be somebody, it's like, oh, I was at a party with so-and-so and they did this. And then somebody's going to go, oh yeah, I remember you were there and so was he, and y'all went into, and then you left in real quick in a hurry. Which, you know, is something we need. We need proof, essentially. And all the proof that we keep getting are pictures taken with fans, and I'm sure maybe some of them didn't ask to get kissed on the cheek or to get hugged or whatever, and that just seems to be the standard thing, that it just happens. You know, but to sit there and claim that that in itself is somehow sexual assault is far-reaching, if anything, especially if you grow up in an environment, or you live in an environment where, you know, hugging somebody when you see them when you hadn't seen them in a while or whatnot is a normal thing. But I do digress. Let's go in. This is a tweet from Vic doing a press for the Dragon Ball Super movie with dear friends. You're going to see several notable people in this thing, as well as Monica here, who is a huge thing in the middle of all this, by the way. It was so much fun. Winky, kiss face, blah, blah, blah. All that good stuff. See, a lot of the things that have been coming out is this has apparently been an open secret for like the past 15 years. He is the missing step that you tell people about who come into the industry. You come in, and people like Monica here have said things like, you told people to avoid Vic. You would not, you know, go with Vic alone somewhere because he's very handsy, he's very aggressive and things like this. You don't want to be alone with this guy. Yet there are countless, and I mean countless, bits of evidence from video, from pictures, from just communications in public spaces like Twitter and things, where if that was the case, she is acting as if none of it existed, as well as a lot of these other people in the industry who are essentially kicking Vic at this point. Let's see what we got next. Oh, this is the hashtag. I must have put this in the wrong spot. Does this need a hashtag, that sort of thing? This is the original tweet from Mars Girl right here. But then we have this here. After all this came out and people were like, you know, can we have some proof? And then people were yelling back at them how they were misogynistic and haters and blah, 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 this, that, and the other, and trolls. You know, something like this comes out. You've got this picture here, right? And you've got a communique that is going in a in a private group, a private space. You should Photoshop this picture so it looks like Vic's hand is on your chest. This way no one can claim that it's out of context and it makes Vic look worse than he is. Nah, falsifying evidence is gross, even if it helps Vic look bad. Even if it helps Vic look like Hitler. Ooh, that would be fun. Somebody should add a Hitler mustache to him. Then again, we already know that he hates Jews. Why would you even suggest to edit evidence? That would pretty much throw it out in a case of law. It would bring doubt to other allegations. If anything, that would help him. Not if its Photoshop looks convincing. There is always a way to figure out if something is shopped. It also does not help you when talking about photoshopping a pic in a public group where anyone can see it. Okay, my bad. Maybe it was a public group. I thought it was a private group. But anyway, yeah, you've got things like this happening where people are wanting to falsify evidence. And they are doing this openly in places, which of course place a lot more doubt on these claims. Just the idea of having this out there places doubt already. If they actually gone through and did this, you have to go back and look at all of this evidence and go, did that really happen? Is that true? Is that taken out of context even further? Is this shopped? Is this edited to look bad? Because, believe it or not, there are videos, which I should have looked up, of things edited very deceptively to make things look worse than there is. There was a video, I want to say it might have been from Anime News Network or somebody, a couple of people who work on Anime News Network, I'm not sure. They definitely were the YouTube or news type, but you've got a guy and a girl, they're interviewing Vic. And if you look at the guy's version of said video, you get one story. If you look at the girl's version of said video, you get a completely different story because she's edited it in a way to where it zooms in when Vic is over there talking to her and everything and all this other stuff, and puts in all these little phrases in there like, did he just do that? Is he sniffing my hair? What a creep. And things like that, to make it look a lot worse, make it look more intimate than it actually was. Meanwhile, totally not adding in that he does the exact same thing to the dude over here between all of this stuff. So, you know, those videos and things are out there for people to look at. But yeah, faking evidence does not help anybody's case at this point. You want people to believe. You need proof so they can believe you. The problem is, nobody's willing to give proof. But anyway, just don't do it. It's extremely harmful to the victims. This is a closed group, so not everyone can see. Okay, it is a closed group. I thought it was a closed group. My point still stands. Yes, but I will call you the F out if I do catch you spreading false information or false evidence. So don't do it. Just because it's a closed group doesn't mean it's okay to make up. Which is totally true. At least somebody in that group has a head on their shoulders. But anyway, there's also other things that were floating about. There's a petition for Rooster Teeth to fire Vic from Ruby. Like I said, it's apparently an open secret that he is this way. Yet these people hang out and everything with him as if it's not an open secret, as if nobody even knew that any of this stuff was happening. And they're friendly with him, they joke with him and everything else in public. But apparently a lot of this stuff happens in public too. What was her name? Mars girl, Monica. That's it, Monica. I can't remember sometimes. These people sort of get mixed up. Anyway, I think it was Monica who was going on about recanting her stories and stuff about how he would, when he greets her, he would get a fistful of her hair and hold her head back and give her a kiss on the cheek or the neck or something. And he would do this in front of colleagues, in front of friends, in public places at cons and stuff when they're meeting in it. But there's no proof of this, especially in the con aspect. We're in the digital age. There is video constantly going on at these con. There are long form videos out there of these panels and everything that these people are, yet none of that stuff ever happens, especially not in the public space like they're claiming it happens in the public space. Which of course brings more doubt to it. You know, is it real, or do we see somebody with an axe to grind here for whatever reason? But we'll get into speculation on my reasonings for why I feel like this might have gone on or might have happened. But anyway, he did get fired, by the way. He is now fired from Rooster Teeth and Funimation. Everyone, we want to give you an update on the Vic situation. Following an investigation, Funimation recast Vic Mignogna, and he is now no longer in any future products. And then we have this. Part of our core mission is to celebrate the diversity of the anime community and to share our love for the genre, its positive impact of all. We do not any kind of harassment. We do not any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed. I feel like there's a word that should be there. Edit. Oh, yeah. Edit. We do not condone any kind of harassment, threatening behavior, which is, that's something you expect to hear from a corporation, a company, things like that. We don't condone this behavior, blah, 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 yada, yada, all that good jazz. However, their investigation makes you wonder, how was this investigation done? Because, a lot of things have come out. We've got testimonies from people, and it's like, yeah, you've got people saying, I've heard, I feel, this happened. However, none of my actions after this happened are actually, reflective that this happened. It's not like I tried to avoid him. I didn't really go to HR about it until just now, years later, and things like that. But this last part is what you need to really pay attention to. This: we do not condone any kind of harassment, threatening behavior. Meanwhile, we've got things like this happening. We also have other statements from Monica and the other chick, Mars Girl, and other people who do work at Funimation. Yes, I want his head. Yes, I want his B. I want him to feel an ounce of the pain he caused others and then effing choke on it. I want to take his D out of your ears so you can actually hear reality. But that's just me. Things like that. They have people on their staff actually harassing people who are on the side of I stand with Vic. If you're not in the mindset of kick Vic, they are coming after you. There were several. I want to say it was Monica. It's like you even approached her with a question. It was, I've screenshotted this. I'm sending it to Homeland Security. Blah, blah, blah. All this other stuff. And it was a copy-paste message to everything for a while. But then we get the Pensacon meltdown. Whoever is running their Twitter just completely melted down right before the con. Because they released a statement. And we've got this. What I'm asking you to do is don't let threats stop us. Our presence at the convention will allow us to expose the truth, blah, 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 have fun in jail. I never said I was going, but no, the people you're encouraging to do so, harass guests, will be arrested. Mark our words. This is a warning. Heed it. I'm not encouraging any form of harassment that would imply physically harming somebody. The only thing I encourage is for people to speak up and tell the truth. Let me ask, do you see any evidence? Or are you blindly trusting the guest because it's a woman? And quite frankly, there was a complete meltdown that went on. They just pretty much went on a tirade from everybody who asked anything. They are welcome to try and sit in. They will be removed. We will have their money. There are people who are sad and delusional. Goodbye. We'll be watching. Hey, stupid. That's not what we said. We said if anyone harasses our guests, that will be thrown out. If they refuse, they will be arrested. And I think, if I remember correctly, that was a response to a tweet asking, if I wore a shirt that said, I stand with Vic or something, would that count as harassment or something? And would y'all throw me out? But then they follow it up, which I don't have over here anywhere, where they were like, yes, we will throw you out because that is harassing our guests, blah. And stuff like that. Hey, dummies, we can have any one of you, anyone we want removed from the privileges. We are a private event, law enforcement on hand. Get back to yelling on the internet. You won't be attending because we are unprofessional. We're okay with that because they just went totally on this unprofessional tirade when it came to it, and then they wound up deleting or completely just suspending their own account temporarily until everything goes over. But apparently it's not the first time that the CEO of Pensacon has had any issues either, because apparently there was this where Pensacon was somewhat in a controversy back in 2015 when Ben, the CEO of Pensacon, received a federal indictment for dealing banned synthetic drugs across 47 retail stores, truly earning the con in Pensacon, which I thought was kind of interesting. So apparently Pensacon is no stranger to this sort of stuff. Throughout all of this thing, Vic had to make a statement, of course, as well. And his statement is as follows. My desire has been to show appreciation, warmth, and acceptance to the fan of my work. Being part of the community has given me both my work and my life so much meaning. If anyone has been made uncomfortable by me, it's not for me to contradict them. It's impossible for me to discern another person's boundaries. I regret anything I've said or done out of ignorance that have put anyone outside of their comfort zone. I love my work dearly, and as well as the characters I've played, or I've had the privilege of portraying. But most satisfying of all has been the opportunity to share the love of this art form with fans all around the world. I would never have met any of you without it. Meeting each of you have so enriched my life, and I'm humbled to have received over thousands of encouraging messages in the last few weeks. To my colleagues, I have considered you good friends for so many years. We've shared countless wonderful experiences together, and I've never meant to do anything to offend or hurt you. Until these last few weeks, I had no idea that any animosity even existed. I've never had anything but respect for you, and I so deeply regret any words or actions that made any one of you feel otherwise. In many regards, life is about course correction and growth. So many fans have written me over the years about very personal issues and struggles, and I have always done my best to encourage and support them. The truth is that I am just a word that I apparently can't say to struggle and difficulties as anyone. I have identified areas in which I need growth, and I am taking this time to recommit to God and seeking the help of counselors, and I am committed to putting every effort into improving not only myself, but for everyone I interact with. Each of you desire nothing less. Finally, please be kind to one another. The very last thing I want is for anyone to be hateful target, especially not on my behalf. Most sincerely, Vic Mignogna. And of course, that was definitely a non-go for the Kick Vic crowd. They didn't like that. But he did have to, he did put this out there. So, there's a thing that I have totally missed. I've lost it somewhere, because I apparently clicked off of it and couldn't find it from Monica here. But we've got this. We've got this recent thing that has dropped, a recent article about how one of anime's biggest voice actors, and it's just listing after listing of people who are anonymous with no proof of anything. But voice actor Charlotte, not her real name, confirmed to IO9 that she shared her story with Funimation for she relayed to IO9 her experiences with Vic, denied an email response. Charlotte said that at a con in the late 2000s, she was getting ready to go to dinner with Mignogna and other con guests and employees. Mignogna asked if they could stop by his room because he wanted to show her a video, and she agreed. Because both were in relationships, Mignogna with her is now ex-fiancé, and Charlotte with her then boyfriend, she believed the invitation was platonic. As they watched the video, she says Mick grabbed her by the arms and kissed her aggressively, including putting his tongue inside her mouth. She tried to pull away, and only to have him pull back, and she told IO9 she felt scared and frozen like a board. Then things escalated. Charlotte said Mignogna backed her up to the bed. She fell down. Then he got on top of her. And soon after a friend came to check on him, she immediately got off the bed. I was saved by a knock on the door. I can say that wouldn't have happened otherwise. I don't know if I would have kicked his tail or if he would have kept going. I stayed frozen. I kept watching or waking up in the middle of the night in a panic. It's the panic. It's the feeling I have to do something to get him away from me. Now, I remember correctly, the other tweet came from Monica, where she detailed a story very similar to this, except for everything else was sort of left off after the bed part, I think it was, or I'm not sure if that was even added in there at all. This is a report from IO9, of course, having extra details, but according to her, Vic was in a relationship with his then and now ex-fiance, and she was talking to a boy who is going to eventually be her boyfriend later. It was somewhere in the mid to late 2000s. They went up, saw a video, and then he kissed her. So, we're over here using not her real name, but then she confirms her real name on Twitter by releasing pretty much the exact same story. And this is where a lot of people have issues talking about or trying to figure out what exactly is going on, because in the past, these people have said that he's the squeaky step, he's the missing step, the one to avoid. Yet every one of these people also have apparently not only have parroted that this is the open secret, have also purposely put themselves into positions where he could then do these things if he's, been known to do it for the past 15 years. Like, Monica here. If I remember correctly, it may not have been, it may have been the other one, but I'm pretty sure it was the Monica tweet, where she went in and said that she put herself into this position in the mid-2000s, and this has been an open secret for the past 15 years. You would have known about not going to his room alone. I don't understand why all these people who have known this for years would purposely put themselves into these positions. I just don't get it. But anyway. And then the next major event is this, a GoFundMe. Vic kicks back. Let's see, there's actually a couple of updates here. Words cannot express the depth of my gratitude for all the kindness and support that has been shown to me over the last few weeks. But anyway, he has now, it's been suggested up until this point that Vic take legal action from numerous people, from some of the more law-inclined YouTubers, who actually deal with law and other stuff, because as it stands right now, they have no proof of this. He's been fired from his work. He's practically had his name dragged through the mud with no proof, just pure accusations. And on top of that, a lot of them at the start, they were all spotty accusations with no real stories to back them up. Just, I heard from a friend, I heard from this, I've heard that, and nothing's actually been there, no tangible evidence. And then when somebody tries to bring in tangible evidence, it's really lackluster, or something where it's been practically taken out of context, or it's not really as bad as they're making it out to be. But there is now a GoFundMe up to help fund mount a defense in the court of law, where this should have been. If there was something going on, in reality, it should have went to HR. There should have been an internal investigation. So-and-so should have, and then Vic should have been let go or whatever, depending on what the internal investigation found out. And nobody should have really known what was going on until suddenly an article comes out going, Vic has been fired from so-and-so for misconduct or whatever. And that's where it should have dropped. And I feel like I've lost something here. Because I had something else up that is totally missing. Well, that's great. Oh, now I know what it is. It was the swatting thing. Where did it go? Oh no. Snap. I wanted to talk about that. Let's see if we can bring it up. Vic. Yeah, I'm gonna do this like this. Swatting. Because why not? Let's see if we can bring that in. So I had that picture somewhere, and now I can't find it. You know what? I think I'm going to just pause this real quick and come back. Okay, so here it is. There was also apparently a swatting attempt. DAFUK. House got swatted. Thanks, Vic. The fans are victim blaming a-holes. Spent most of the morning fixing my door frame and replacing the door. Police apologized, helped me replace the door. I'm fine, just pissed. It was my rental house, not the one I lived in. Which is really bad. I mean, swatting is very bad. Nobody should be swatting anybody. You can die from getting swatted, because people have in the past. But yeah, so swatting's a very big deal. You don't want to be swatting anybody, and it should be taken very serious. The only problem is, this is of course recently, the pictures that were provided with this came from a 2016 tweet and story about pretty much the same thing, which of course makes you wonder how real it really is. I mean, come on. If you're gonna fake a swatting, at least get some updated pictures. Get new pictures. Go break down your door to make it more believable, so it looks like, and then take pictures of that. But yeah, apparently this happened. So the swatting, of course, isn't real. It's made up, apparently. Nobody's produced any police report or anything on that either. Nobody's found one anyway, so as far as we know, no swatting actually occurred. And when you're using pictures from an old one years ago, it makes people wonder, what exactly happened here. But let's wrap all this up. What has happened? We've got Vic. He's been accused of assault. No real proof to it. All proof has been either taken out of context, made to look a lot worse than it actually was, and stuff has been fabricated, made up. And then to add, more injury onto the thing, the fans have been attacked as a result for not believing this and asking for proof, demanding for proof. And then the other side has come out and been like, we don't owe you anything. But this is where my opinion comes in. A lot more of my opinion anyway. Listen, if you've been assaulted, any kind of assault, doesn't matter what it is, call 911 or whatever service it is that you have, because I know like Europe has a different service or whatnot, but here in the States, call 911, go to the police. They are there for a reason. Look, I don't care. I don't believe this nonsense of I don't trust the police bullshit. Just straight down to brass taxes. Call the authorities. Put something in. Go to HR. Call the authorities. Get us, get a paper trail going, because, even if somebody doesn't believe you at this point in time, if it's not investigated for whatever reason, and then later down the line, something comes up and you can go, look, I tried to tell you, and you want to then of course try and pursue something, and that sucks. I understand, if it actually has happened and nobody's going to believe it and they don't want to investigate it for whatever the reason is, at least then later when it does become a high profile thing and you can get somebody to actually start investigating these things, you can come out and say, look, I tried to tell you people, this person is a monster. You didn't listen. Here's all the evidence I have. The receipts, the police report from 2016, the police report from 2005. This has been an open secret. Here's all the, files and everything, that I've submitted, and all this other stuff that has been done in the past over it. And people are going to then, people will change their mind on it. People are like, yeah, we're sorry. Things like that. We're going to take care of this now. Yes, it's late. Yes, that sucks. But at the same time, eventually, the right thing is done. You need to go to the police. You need to go to people, who can take care of these sort of things. But when you don't, and you don't for years, and you never mention it to anybody, and you go and you hang out with that person almost every other day or every other week or whatever it is, as if nothing has ever happened, and you've got mountains upon mountains of evidence that nothing is wrong, then you can't get upset when people don't believe me because you've taken to social media and not the authorities to get your story out. I'm sorry. If it happened, if this actually happened, I will take back, the whole, I don't believe you. I really don't at this point. I cannot believe somebody without actual evidence found guilty in a court of law. It is innocent until proven guilty, but on social media, it is the opposite. You are guilty until, never. You're always guilty on social media. It turns into this giant witch hunt. You can't come on to Twitter and Facebook and say so-and-so touched me in a way I wasn't comfortable with, or they gave me a hug, or they grabbed me by the, the nice Trump line. But you can't go onto social media and do that. That does nothing for you, unless you're trying to stir up a pot or something for whatever your gain is, whether you have one or not, or maybe it's just somebody who has slighted you. Which, of course, if I was to put on my tinfoil hat, I would assume, or I would go on and say that somehow Vic slighted one of these people. Either they wanted to go out with him or something and he said no, or whatever it is, he has somehow slighted and upset one of these people. And they are now trying to get him back, and they have stirred up a media storm. It was Mars Girl who was the one trying to get the hashtag started. And, at one point, these people were just reposting things and just putting Kick Vic in it just to get this story going, and then the article dropped and everything else. But, I firmly, right now, I stand with Vic crowd, to be honest. You need proof. You need to go to court over this. You need to contact the police, give an actual statement, which, as far as I am aware, have yet to even happen, even though all these accusations are all over Twitter for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. Yet nobody has yet to go to the authorities over it. The only investigation that has apparently been done is internally at Funimation and Rooster Teeth, and that's it. There hasn't been anything else. So, if you're with the, I stand with Vic, there's a fundraiser, a GoFundMe to go help him out. It's raised apparently over 50,000 in 2 days. Go help him out there, if that's what you want to do, and let's bring these people to justice. Let's find out the truth. Because, trust me, if they can get this going through and they start suing people, because Vic has a number of people he can sue between Mars Girl and Monica, Funimation, Rooster Teeth, and various other people for defamation and other things. There is going to be a point in that whole thing, and it might take a while, so sit back, relax for a little bit, because this could be a multi-year process, especially with so many people. When we hit the discovery phase, things are going to come out. if there's been communications between these people in private through, text messaging or emails or something, that stuff is going to come out. And that dirty laundry is going to be aired to the world eventually. We will eventually find the truth out. Video surveillance, things like that, it's going to come out. And if it turns out he's guilty of these things, then I will say I'm wrong. I will sit there and say, look, I like him. I've liked his work and everything. I never would have imagined he'd be such a person. But, at the same time, if it comes out that there's nothing out there and these people have conspired against him, all these people need to be losing their jobs at that point. And if Funimation keeps these people on, I don't know. It would be something that I honestly wouldn't be surprised about, to be totally honest. But yeah, I guess that does it for me. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about it. Until then, I'll talk to you later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.